I'm Chris Leatham, and this is The Economy and You. This week, we're going to be talking about all things Google. We've got Daniel Hildebrandt from the GermanGoogleGuy.com. Welcome to the show.
Thank you very much.
Thanks for coming. Thanks for appearing on Think Tech.
Thank you.
I wanted just to say a little bit to our veterans out there. Today's Veterans Day, and in honor of our veterans, I'd like to wish everybody thank you and say a big thank you for your service and your hard work and your sacrifice. I'm a former Marine, so I can appreciate all the sacrifices that veterans out there have made. So I just want to acknowledge our servicemen and women. So anyway, thank you for being on the show. So I wanted to sort of start off and let you talk a little bit about how you got into this sort of whole weird and wonderful world of Google.
Well, that started in 1999, like with the start of the internet, so to say. I was always fascinated, and my dad had a company. You know, we did online marketing back then, and we still do it. My dad has a company in Germany. I have a company here, and that's all I know. Online marketing, yeah.
That's what you do.
That's what I do, yeah.
Okay, all right. So online marketing. Now, Google has been going through some interesting transformations of late. In fact, on the stock exchange now, they are referred to as Alphabet. Right? They've changed their name.
Exactly.
Okay. Now, Google is still a part of Alphabet.
Yes.
Okay. But Alphabet has sort of become this sort of holding company for Google, YouTube, and various other entities that fall under that whole enterprise.
That's
now.
right.
Is that right? Okay. So now, Google bought YouTube a few years ago.
Right.
And now that's become one of the major websites on the internet today.
Yes.
For watching videos. It's a great platform for advertising, for marketing, explaining ideas, concepts, and entertainment.
Absolutely.
People use it as a movie theater, you know,
Yeah.
right on their computer. Now, there are millions of web pages being created every day. There's thousands, hundreds of thousands of websites being made every month. Okay, so it's become this just massive thing, the internet. Now, if I'm a guy and I'm starting a new company, I'm an entrepreneur, I want to start a new business. Maybe it's brick and mortar, maybe it's online, okay? But, wow, you know, here we are, right?
Right.
So, where do we get started today? Do we still need to have a website? Is a website still relevant? With all the sort of social media marketing tools that are out there, LinkedIn, Facebook, Pinterest, all these sort of weird and wonderful platforms out there in social media, is it still relevant to have a website? Do we still need to have a website?
That's a very good question. So today, we work a lot with landing pages as well.
Okay.
So a website is defined, you know, a website has several pages, and, you know, whenever you look at a website, you have usually an about page, a contact page, you know, maybe a blog on the side and all this kind of stuff. A landing page is different. A landing page is just one single page that has all the relevant information, and you are trying to, for example, get an email address or get the visitor of the landing page to give you a call or something like that.
Right.
So it's very different. A website can easily cost, depending on how, you know, like how big it is, it can easily cost a couple $1,000s.
And also sort of the intent of the website.
Exactly.
So if it's just a business card, like if it's an oversized business card, very simple, very cheap, easy to put up.
Right.
On the other hand, if you're building out a website that's sort of all-encompassing, that's going to be found on the search engine, on the internet, you want it to rank with the search engines, all that sort of thing, the price goes up.
Absolutely.
Just a little bit.
Well, no, you're absolutely right. That's a different, totally different story. If you are really, you know, you're a small business and you say, okay, I don't need this big catalog of products or this big product catalog on my site. I don't need 1,000 or 500 pages of content on my site.
Maybe I'm only selling one product.
Exactly.
I'm selling an electric scooter
Exactly.
or skateboard.
Exactly.
My
So-
first show, by the way, was electric skateboard.
Oh, okay.
Yes.
So then a landing page might be just enough for you, and a landing page usually costs maybe a couple $100. If like if an agency does it, we even do it like for $65 a month because we update it and we optimize it. So
Okay.
this is different from a website where you have sometimes hundreds of pages behind it. You
Right.
know. So this is one of the first questions a business owner or entrepreneur should ask themselves. Do I need a website or is a landing page enough?
Will that suffice? Yeah. So, okay, but if I'm going to have a landing page, okay, that means I'm going to employ a different marketing strategy. Is that about right?
Yeah.
Because a website, maybe I'm looking to build a website, so I want it to show up organically
Right.
in search results. But if I'm building a landing page, then I'm going to be leveraging other functionality through the internet, such as lead page marketing or lead boxes.
Right.
I'm going to be using maybe more social media,
Yes.
Instagrams, Pinterest, sites where I'm using imagery, I'm using blogs, Facebook,
Yeah,
I'm using
yeah.
strategies out of there, LinkedIn.
Right.
Okay.
So that's absolutely correct. So for example, one of my clients, he owns the website Hawaiian.com. So Hawaiian.com, we are looking for we are having a long tail strategy, which means we want Google to index our page. We want to rank high in the search engine.
Organically.
Organically,
Right.
exactly.
Okay.
So that's why we have a lot of content. We have enriched content on the page, which means we have videos, we have pictures, we have blog posts, we have links from Facebook coming in.
I bet you have pretty girls on that site.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah, it's run by
Yes.
two guys. I mean,
Yes, of course, it's got pretty girls. So that people are going to stay there on the site longer. Yeah.
Exactly. So there with the Hawaiian.com page, we are going for the long tail, and then I just today finished a landing page for a client who does who is a consultant for tax debt. So for tax debt. So if people
Tax debt.
Tax debt.
You owe
right.
money for didn't pay your taxes.
Exactly. So
Okay,
you
right.
you
Okay.
you owe $10,000
Right.
in taxes. Give
Uh-huh.
me a call. So
Okay.
and that's it. That's the whole message.
Okay.
So and there we are going for a short tail, which means we buy traffic, just like you said. We buy it from Facebook or from Google, or there's other networks out there where you can actually go and say, okay, I want to buy traffic and send them to my landing page, and then have people, like convert, which means they either type in their email or they give you a call.
Okay. Now that's great. Now I build up. What this idea is that you're building up an email marketing list.
Right.
Okay, so that you can reach out to people who maybe have an interest in your product or
Yes.
service.
Yes.
And then you use that to start to develop a relationship with the client.
Absolutely.
You're not just looking necessarily for the quick sale.
Exactly. Yes.
Okay. So when we talk about a landing page, are you also building lead pages? And one of the things I wanted to touch on was something called split testing or A/B testing.
A/B testing.
Okay. So maybe you can explain why that's relevant or why that's important.
Yeah. So A/B testing is actually one of the very important things when it comes to landing pages. Because if you have just one page, you want to have a very high either a click-through rate or conversion rate, so that people type in their email address or give you a call. And conversion rates with good landing pages are about like 30%. So 30% of the people that actually go to the page give you a call or leave their email address.
Okay.
And with A/B split tests, what you do is you have the exact same page, but you change one little thing. For example, a different headline.
Okay.
Or a different product on the page, or sometimes it's just the color of a button, just to see, okay, does it actually have any influence on the conversion rate?
So if I put a great big button that's about half the width of the screen and said, Click here.
Click here, buy
Will
now.
it get me a better conversion rate? That's what I want to know, right?
Exactly.
So we're just going to change that one little thing.
Exactly.
Right?
Make it an orange button.
Okay, make it a great big orange button instead of a great big green button.
Yeah.
Okay. So, and by doing sort of A/B testing now, is this something that's ongoing?
To a certain extent, yes.
Yes.
You know, if you have a very high conversion rate or click-through rate, whatever the purpose of the site is, at some point, you know, when you're at the like 35%, you're pretty good.
You have diminishing rates of return. In other words, if you keep working on
Right.
it beyond that, you're not necessarily getting
Exactly.
exactly. You know, big bang for your buck.
Exactly.
Right. Okay. So now, once you're doing that, and you've got a site set up for that, okay, but things keep changing on the internet, and I want to come back and I want to talk about Google's search engine algorithms and their filters, because the filters and the search engine algorithms aren't static; they keep changing.
Absolutely.
Is that right? Okay.
That's right.
All right. So we're going to take a short commercial. We'll be back in a minute. I'm Chris Leatham. This is The Economy and You, and we're talking to Daniel, the German Google guy from GermanGoogleGuy.com.
Absolutely.
And we'll be right back. Aloha. And we're back. I'm Chris Leatham. This is The Economy and You. I know the name of the show probably doesn't excite people so much, but it just sort of allows me to talk about interesting things here in Hawaii. But I wanted to kind of, and our guest today is Daniel Hildebrandt from the GermanGoogleGuy.com. And so we were talking, I wanted to sort of talk about search engine optimization and some of the things that have happened in the last year or two with search engine optimization. Because it's, Google has said one of the most important things now is mobile.
Absolutely.
Mobile devices, Google recognizes that mobile, or Alphabet recognizes that a lot of the time we're searching through mobile devices today. So one of the key criteria to your site ranking well is having a responsive website.
That's right.
Wow, man, talk about creating work for web designers. What an opportunity. So the idea behind a responsive website is that your site now has to sort of comport to the viewport or the device that you're looking at the website on, and be responsive to that type of a device.
Absolutely.
Okay. So what kind of challenges have you noticed with your clients?
Especially bigger clients that have like a lot of content on the site and that put, you know, $10,000s of dollars into their websites, you know, maybe a few years ago, but still they put a lot of money in there. And you know, it's back then it was, you know, people had like mobile sites, you know, it was
a different site.
Exactly, it was
Yeah.
a different site. And now Google says, well, you know what, we don't want this mobile site anymore. They still, you know, if you redirect your user to it, it's still okay. But Google says, we want the website to be responsive. So, which means it doesn't matter on what device you're actually looking at the site, it has to adjust to the screen.
Right.
And
now, there's been some changes in the HTML world to make this possible. HTML5 has come about.
yes,
And within the HTML5 protocol or standard, they've given us some new HTML tags and tools to accomplish this. Is that about right?
that's about right, yes.
Yeah. And so now you've got a lot of sort of things. The first thing that happens before a page is rendered
Right.
is that it tries to figure out what kind of a device it is.
Exactly.
And then renders accordingly. But this has affected a lot of websites, because a lot of websites, basically, if you didn't conform,
Right.
you lost
Ranking.
You lost ranking.
Yeah.
So maybe you were on the first page, and now you've got knocked off of there.
Worst case, yeah.
Yeah.
Worst case scenario,
Yeah.
that could happen.
So that means that you have to continue to invest. So now there's other kinds of issues. Google has implemented different kinds of filters as well. One is the Panda filter, which we've heard about. The farm filter, the pigeon filter,
There's so many.
yeah, there's
right
a variety
now,
of filters, yeah.
Hummingbird.
The
and,
hummingbird,
yeah,
right, yeah, the hummingbird. Now, what is the hummingbird filter?
Well, so all these algorithms, all these Google algorithms have one goal: to deliver the best user experience or to deliver the best results whenever you type in a search term.
So Google doesn't care that I'm spending money on pay-per-click ads. They're interested, organically, they want to give the best results.
Both. AdWords, which is the advertising tool, Google's advertising tool. So it works kind of similar. Even there, Google says, hey, we want to deliver the results with the highest relevance. Well, now we can say, hey, Google, that's awesome. Thank you so much. You're great guys, you know, but then on the other hand side, you got to look at it from this way, from this perspective. The more people click on the advertisements, the more money Google makes. So of course they want to deliver the advertisements with the highest relevance to you so that you click on it so that Google makes money, you know? So yeah, but we have, Google is always about relevancy, and that's why content is so important.
Okay, but when we talk about all these filters, what these filters are doing is, I know one filter, basically it looks at your domain name, right? And if you make a domain name equal to a search term, but then you got junk content on the web page, your website can get flushed. Right.
Well, Google has more than 200 factors. Google says they have more than 200 factors that influence a website's ranking on the search result page.
200 different.
More than 200. So what you just said is one of them. So, you know, it comes to authority, you know, like how many links do I get from authority websites, for example, you know.
And there's a filter for that as well, where people have paid for links from link farms.
Exactly, yeah.
And they don't like that. Google doesn't like that.
Right. Okay. So yeah, so the whole search engine optimization topic, what we talked about is, you know, when somebody gives you a call and he's like, hey, I optimize your website for $99 a month.
I've gotten those calls. I have gotten those calls. Somebody from India says, I would like to have the opportunity to optimize your website. And they've identified my website, and they've told me all these things that are wrong with it and how they're going to fix it.
Right.
But then I'm a little bit savvy because I actually know how to design websites, and I know a little bit about search engine optimization. And the things that they're talking about are very old school.
Right.
And really, to me, not that relevant.
Right. So there's.
So should we be a little suspicious of these guys?
You know, I don't. I work with guys from India. They're doing a good job when it comes to online, you know, like optimization things. As long as you guide them, I wouldn't. You know, I wouldn't necessarily
pay. Just drop $99 every month and let them go.
Exactly. Now you gotta guide them. You gotta be on top of your game. You gotta know what you're talking about. Because $99 a month. We talked about 200 factors that you have to know to get a better ranking on Google.
Right.
I don't think that you can do that for $99 a month.
Really?
Nah.
So maybe it's not the best. Maybe it's you try it and see how it goes. Or...
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. You know,
no?
But if you, this is the thing. If you want to save money.
So what's the right approach? If somebody says, "Look, I need to have my website optimized," what approach would you take with them? Like, what's the right way to have a consultation with somebody about helping their site rank well? What's the right way to do that?
Okay, so what we do, for example, is we have a 90-minute consultation. 90-minute consultation means we either sit down with the client or we do it online, you know, and look at this site. And we look at his site and we have an interview. Okay, so what are you doing so far, and what are the results?
And maybe you need to understand something about their business model.
Absolutely. If you know, and you want to know, we want to know. Okay, so who's your biggest competitor? And then, you know, we can look at his ranking online, and then we compare it with our client's ranking online, and then we can kind of see, okay, so where are we at right now? And what do we have to do? What are we doing right? What are we doing wrong? And a lot of work, for example, SEO work, search engine optimization work, is sometimes just, you know, getting things right that were done wrong in the past. And that takes up a lot of time. For example, you mentioned link farms. Incoming links from websites that are not relevant, that don't have relevant content, you know, for example.
Or they're on Google's naughty list.
Exactly. That will actually
the disavowed list.
Exactly.
Right?
It will hurt your website. And then you have to try to, you know, to get those links those incoming links, you have to cut them off. And how do you do that? Usually you have to send the people emails, you have to sometimes call them and be like, hey, I don't want my website or your website to link to my website. And that's,
That's a lot of work.
It's a lot of work, yeah.
Wow. That's a problem then.
That's one of the parts, that's
Yeah.
one of the things why professional search engine optimization is not cheap. And the clicks, when I hear a lot from business owners, they say, oh yeah, I do SEO and then the clicks are free. Well, yes, the clicks are technically free, but
Right.
you have to invest,
In the search engine, into having your site rank organically.
Exactly.
So either pay the piper this way or you pay the piper that way.
Exactly.
But you're going to pay to dance. Either way, you're going to pay to dance. That's about right. Okay. Well, now somebody wants to employ a long tail strategy. Okay. They want to build a site long term. Okay. What's some of the things that you look at in developing a long tail strategy for someone?
One of the important things is, of course, we start with website or landing page, and then we go over the goals. What are the goals of your site? And there's a lot of business owners out there. When we talk to them, I'm like, okay, so who's your target audience? What is your goal? And I talk to local business owners, and they said, oh yeah, my target audience is everybody out there. And I looked at their website, I'm like, okay, so is your website in Chinese? No. Is your website in Japanese? No. I'm like, so obviously, not everybody out there is your target audience.
Right.
So this is really one of the things that you have to think about before you start investing any money in online advertising. Who do you want to have on your site? Who do you want to sell to?
I guess it's also about the experience that they're going to have on the site.
Absolutely.
And is the goal to get an immediate sale, or is the goal to build up a long-term relationship with the client where you may have a subscription-based ongoing revenue stream?
Right.
Okay, so all these are different factors in how you would build out the site. Is that about right?
Yeah. For example, one of my clients, Cameron Brooks, he's an aerial photographer, and his goal is to get attention to his website, people's attention, and that they come to the site and buy or purchase his aerial photography. And he has great shots. And what we did for him was his website is just pictures, because that's all he does. Pictures. So there's a little about page, but that's about it, because he is not the main focus. If you are looking for aerial photography in Hawaii, what do you want to see? You want to see pictures of Hawaii.
Aerial photography.
Exactly,
yes.
and not the guy who does it,
Right.
with a camera. It's
Right.
nice to know who is the artist, but that's not the focus. So always focus on what does the user expect? What do they want to look at? What do they want to see? Real estate agents, show them real estate, show them houses, apartments, or whatever whatever you offer,
Right.
and not,
Right.
hey, this is me standing in front of a house, and it doesn't matter.
With the sold site.
Exactly.
Yes. Yeah. Interesting. Okay. So now I wanted to go into maybe a little bit more of the active strategies, because, okay, you have a website, okay, or a landing page, okay. Now we all are familiar with email marketing, but we're all spammed to death.
Oh yeah.
Yes. So how do I get people to my website that are the logical people who I want coming to my website? Because, okay, I've got content, I've got all the multimedia, I've got the videos, I've got all the really great stuff on my landing page or my website, okay? But I don't need everybody coming to my site.
Right.
Okay? So how do I find the relevant people? Okay? Do I use Facebook? Am I using YouTube? And if I'm going to use YouTube, what's the right way to use YouTube? What's the right way to do that?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like you mentioned at the very beginning, YouTube is the #2 search engine when it comes to when it comes to searches. YouTube is #2 right behind Google. So just like you said, people are more and more absorbing videos online.
Right.
And I have a German travel site, and all we do is We have videos about Hawaii, hike up Diamond Head or hike up Cocoa Head, go to the North Shore. And because Hawaii is all about the beauty of the nature. So that's what people want to see.
Right.
And so we created a YouTube channel, and people love it because they can experience Hawaii. And then from there, they go to our website and they leave their email address because we have more great content there, and then we can, keep in contact. So this is one way. The other way that you said, that you talked about is Facebook advertising, for example.
Well, Facebook advertising, we had talked a little bit about this earlier, and there's sort of the easy way to do Facebook advertising.
Oh, yeah.
The problem is it's not necessarily the most effective.
Absolutely, yeah.
Now, maybe you could talk about that sort of, that series of approaches that people sort of go through with Facebook advertising, because you're saying the first thing is when you click on it, when you want to sort of project out maybe a little video that you did with folks, the first thing you do, what is that called? Where you
boost post.
You boost the post, right?
Right.
So if I'm boosting a post, it's sort of a random thing. It doesn't really.
It just whenever you post something on your Facebook page or on Facebook in your timeline, it goes out to your friends and to people that have sort of the same interest. And whenever you boost,
Well, that assumes that we have friends, but yeah.
Well,
so we got a few friends on Facebook,
right?
And we send it to them. Of course, after a while, they get annoyed if we keep sending them stuff like that, right? So maybe we don't want to boost too much.
Exactly.
In the direction.
And the boost,
because actually, what I heard on Facebook now is you have a way to remove people from sending you content without defriending them.
Absolutely.
Without them knowing about it.
Exactly. Yeah.
People who share too much. Right.
Yeah, I did that with my ex-girlfriend. So.
oh man. Okay. So that's happening now, but there's more sophisticated ways to use Facebook.
Yeah.
One of them is the editor tool, or the power editor tool.
Right. Absolutely, and the thing, what you just explained is like stage one is boost post, which is very easy. You just click PayPal, PayPal the money, and that's it. Then you have the editor, and the editor you have a little bit more opportunity, possibilities to design your advertisement and all that. And then there's the power editor.
Now the power editor is this sort of unknown sort of black box. Yeah. The problem with the power editor with Facebook is you have to actually dig for it.
Exactly.
Yeah. Now you would think Facebook would go, well, here it is, but they don't do that.
Right. Well, because the power editor actually makes it easier for you to set up your target audience and to attract the right people instead of just blowing something out. So Facebook kind of makes less money because you don't keep on spending as much as if you would just boost a post over and over.
Right. Okay.
So, but nevertheless, the power editor is a good tool. I use it. I use the Facebook ads for the travel site to get subscribers to my email list. So Facebook has a brand new way of advertising that. It's called Facebook ads, Facebook lead ads.
Facebook lead ads.
Exactly, Facebook lead ads.
So let's talk about this. This is sort of new.
Yes.
This is new stuff.
Right.
Okay, cutting edge. We're in the bleeding edge area here. Okay. And so say it one more time for our audience.
Facebook lead ads.
Facebook lead ads.
Yes.
And how does that work?
Facebook lead ads, the good thing about that is we talked about it, you create a website or a landing page, you want to get people to your site, and of course you want to get in touch with them. You want their email address or you want their phone number or whatever. And Facebook lead ads is a great tool to get their name, their email address, or whatever information they left on Facebook, and when they hit the subscribe button, they just, as soon as they hit a subscribe button, it opens up a little window and it shows the information that they would leave if they now hit, accept. So I just do it with name and email address, and then I did it for the last 4 or 5 days, and very small budget, and I had great results. So
Interesting.
yeah, it's a really good tool. I really like it.
Okay. So now there are some other tools out there as well for people who are trying to get more stuff moving through the site. So I would like to, let's talk about like Pinterest, Instagram. Do you use any of these tools, these social media platforms?
Well, yes, I use them. One of the most important things, especially when we talk about entrepreneurs, startups, is don't start and be the one who says, hey, I want to be on Pinterest, I want to be on Instagram, I want to be on Facebook, I want to be there, and blah, blah. And, there's so many different tools out there. But if you have a Facebook page, that takes a lot of work to maintain it. You have to have fresh content and all this. So starting with like 5 different social networks when you're just about to start a company is overwhelming.
It could be a little overwhelming.
Oh, yeah.
So yeah, because you're going to have somebody support all this activity, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Now, if you're a real estate, now you work with real estate people also?
Yes.
Okay. Have you used sites like hotpads.com?
Not yet, no.
Okay, so there are certain sites out there that will help you to syndicate information. Now, I just know this because I've been playing around with some ideas with the real estate market.
Okay.
But there are also other sites that will help you to syndicate content out there for you.
Oh, okay.
Okay. Yes. So if we have sites that will do that for you, what that does is allows you to sort of leverage your content in different ways.
Right.
Okay. So, which I think is great. I think that's one of the keys to being successful is finding other people who can help you to leverage your existing content and reuse it. Okay. So, anything else you would like to talk about when you talk about like LinkedIn? What's going on with LinkedIn these days?
LinkedIn is a great network when it comes to business relationships. I think the last time I checked is we had like 370,000 people on Oahu that use LinkedIn.
Yeah.
So it's a great network to connect, with business people.
But content for LinkedIn would seem to me would have a different expectation.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So when you're developing content for LinkedIn versus other social media sites, what are some of the factors that you look at?
For LinkedIn, for example, you cannot use the same content that you used on Facebook already. Because Facebook people go to Facebook and visit Facebook to be entertained, to see the newest cat pictures or whatever, and then every once in a while they get every once in a while they get annoyed by some advertisements that are in between the cat pictures. But LinkedIn is more of a business network. When you post on LinkedIn, you really have to have very valuable information. Post content that is it's not old content. It's not like things from back in the days. You have to have valuable information because what you do on LinkedIn is you expose yourself as business owner, and you are looking for business partners. So a cat picture might not be the right thing to do.
Say it isn't so. We can't put kitty cats on LinkedIn. Yeah, maybe that's what it is. I'm not seeing enough cat pictures on LinkedIn these days. Maybe that's one of the challenges. So now, what kind of projects are you working on? If people wanted to get a hold of you, how would they reach out to you?
Well, the easiest thing is to just go to my website, GermanGoogleGuy.com, and or give me a call. The phone number is right on the site, and whenever you have questions concerning website optimization, search engine optimization, or you want to have a landing page, this is all stuff that we do. We advertise on Facebook or on LinkedIn. We help you with your YouTube channel. So these are all things that we help our clients with, and the easiest way is to just go to our website, GermanGoogleGuy.com, and give us a call.
Okay, all right, great. So now, any other tips or ideas about internet marketing strategies that you'd like to maybe give us a couple of your trade secrets?
It's The money is in the list. It's an older saying, which means the more contact information, email information you have about your client, the better it is. And I see that nowadays, it's still true. The more leads you have and the better your email marketing is, the higher your return on investment will be. And email marketing is a great way. Just make sure you don't spam the people, because once you're on the spam list, you're in trouble.
Now, would you use entities like MailChimp?
Yes.
And maybe MailChimp what is a MailChimp? Maybe you could help us to sort of describe what MailChimp is for people who want to do email marketing.
Yeah. Well, we use MailChimp, and it's a great tool to set up your emails, to build your email list. You can have a subscribe form on your website, and whenever somebody types in your email address and hits the submit button, it directly goes into your list on MailChimp, for example. There's there's other tools out there, Constant Contact and all these things, and they really help you to keep track of your lists. They have automation tools, which means not every time somebody signs up, you have to write them an email. No, you just set up the automated
So
process.
this is what they call like an autoresponder.
Exactly.
Email.
Yeah.
And MailChimp and other sites like MailChimp
Right.
have that built in as a feature of
Right.
their platform.
Right. So what you can do is you can actually say, okay, so the first email, or somebody signs up on your page, and then within 2 days or after 2 days, he gets a welcome email saying, hey, welcome to my site. I'm glad you're here. This is what we have for you, blah, 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 blah. 3 days after that, the automated process sends the subscriber another email saying, hey, did you check this part of my website out yet? 5 days after that. And, so it just keeps contact.
Keeps the communication going.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and you don't necessarily have to do that for every individual.
Exactly.
That's the beauty of it.
Absolutely, yeah.
Okay. And so MailChimp has that. Other sites like MailChimp.
Yes.
There's something people should look at when they're setting up their marketing scheme.
Yes.
Or
yes.
doing online marketing.
Yes. So
Okay.
whenever you have a conversion funnel, so you pretty much bring people in from Google, from Facebook, from LinkedIn, and then at the end of the conversion funnel, there's the sale. There's where you actually make money. And email marketing is one of the parts of this conversion funnel to actually get the people
It's
to take
also,
action.
and it's also a mechanism by which people can communicate with you. In other words, if you send them a reminder email
Yes.
of an up-and-coming event, let's say you're having an event,
Right.
you may have had them sign up for the event, but you also want them to show up. So you may even use that autoresponder feature as a tool to remind them
Absolutely.
of the upcoming event that they've already signed up for.
Absolutely. That's what we do with our, we do webinars in Germany for real estate agents, actually. And there we have a reminder email. 1 day before the actual webinar, we tell them, hey, tomorrow at 2 p.m., there's the webinar that you signed up for. And then 20 minutes before the webinar starts, we send them another email, of course, automatically, and saying, hey, in 20 minutes, be at your computer, because then the webinar starts. So, and after the webinar, we send them an email depending on what they did. Did they actually buy something at the end, or didn't they buy? If they bought something, we're like, hey, congrats, great that it was awesome having you. And if they didn't buy, we're like, hey, what happened? Here's again, like a special offer or whatever.
So yeah, maybe we're gonna give you another inducement to purchase.
Right.
Yes. Well, Daniel, it's great having you on the show today.
Thanks
Thank you
for
so
having
much
me.
for coming on. I know that this whole thing with search engines, it can be overwhelming for a small business person. And they want to know about it. They want to have an understanding about the technology. But you can sort of get lost in the morass.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, there's so much there.
Yeah.
Okay. But I want to thank you for coming on the show today. And I hope you get a few people that will give you a call and
Thank you very much.
take advantage of your services.
Awesome.
Yes. I'm Chris Leatham. And this is The Economy and You, and thank you for watching today. And we'll see you again next week. Aloha.
Hi, I'm your host.